listen to you. And last year you said our baking special was a little bit late. You wanted to get started on your baking, so that's what we're doing for the whole hour. It's all about getting you in there and baking the right way. Mairlyn Smith, everyone. She's going to school us. My tiny little baking prodigy. So baking is one of those things, I mean, if you're already a little bit gun-shy about being in the kitchen, baking might be a bit intimidating because there are certain things you have to do, and if you do things wrong, your recipe will not turn out.
It will stink-a-reno.
It'll stink-a-reno.
And you know, you go to all that work and all that expense, and then they're like, wow, that was a brick, you know? So, yeah, so I'm gonna teach you.
So can you teach us what we're doing wrong and how to fix it?
And this is my home economist head, okay? Because baking is science, and I love science. I mean, I took science in university, so this is like, okay. The first thing is that you have to have the right kind of pan, okay? So a lot of people have these ones which are thermal, and I think that is crap. So we'll just get, you can use them.
What is wrong with that one?
Well, what happens is that it's thermal, so the heat doesn't really actually make them crispy and brown. And so they actually look different and they bake different.
Okay.
And so if you've got a recipe that your friends make that worked out and yours didn't, you might have the wrong pan.
You might have the wrong pan.
And the other thing is that if it has edges, certain recipes will keep the heat in and then they won't spread out. So I like the kinds of pans that have no edges, and the shinier the better. Don't get the really dark ones because it'll darken the cookies too much.
Okay, so if you're not supposed to use the regular cookie trays that all of us use?
Yeah, because somebody made
the ones with the little handles?
Yeah, because some dope named them that, and everybody decided to follow along. So this is a cookie sheet. The other ones are baking pans, baking sheets.
All right.
Okay?
Gotcha.
Now, unsalted butter is really, really important. That's a really big deal. Don't use salted butter. You want to maybe add the salt later. I don't ever anyway.
Yeah.
But unsalted will give you better butter flavor.
Okay.
Better butter flavor.
Better butter flavor with the unsalted, which seems counterintuitive. You would think the salt would add more flavor.
Well, it does, but then it might dry out the cookie, or it might be too much salt in the cookie. So unsalted. And it has to be room temperature. And I was talking to somebody before, and they actually melt theirs in the microwave.
So do I. No! What's the big deal?
Because you have a solid fat. When you turn it into a liquid fat, it acts differently. And so when you want to cream it up, it's got to be room temperature. So I take it out the night before, or you can always just stick it under your armpit, walk around the house for a while. There you go, Hot flashes.
Oh, that works.
You know what? This could be the next big hot flash thing. Just tap yourself in butter. Anyway, okay. All right, the next thing up is eggs. They have to be at room temperature too, but you don't want to leave those out for a long time.
Right.
So my little tip is that I just put them in a bowl and I put warm water in them.
Really?
And then I'm just going to warm them up because we're talking volume. Okay. So when things will beat up better when they're warm, they don't have as much, they don't expand as much. It's called turgid.
Okay.
Oh, science!
You're loving this. Where's your lab coat?
I know, it's so exciting. So when it's turgid, it doesn't expand as well. So you really want to have it at room temperature. So just warm your eggs up in a little bit of warm water.
How long before do you have to take them out to warm
20
them up?
hours, I'm kidding. About 20 minutes. 20 minutes, okay, good.
Okay.
Now this is my favorite one. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I want you to just scoop and measure out your flour. So just scoop it. Just and then, you know, how you'd normally do it at home. Yeah, it's not enough. You got to have more in there, right? So that's what you would do. And then you want to make sure it's level. So it's not level yet. So you got to, that's right, but it's not level. See how you needed more. So you got to get more in there. Okay. And now level it off. Okay. Or it's still not. It's still wrong. Okay, see what I mean?
Remind me to never bake with you.
Oh yeah, it's a hell. Anyway, okay.
How about that?
Now pour it onto this tray, onto this thing, and let's weigh it. Okay. So it says 5.8. Okay.
Yep.
Now that was the wrong way to measure.
Oh.
So we're good. We're going to show you, and this makes a huge difference.
Right.
So you spoon it in, and when you're spooning it in, you're not packing it down.
Okay.
And
so
then
don't do any of that action.
Don't do any of the sifting. You're not looking for gold, man. You're not panning for gold. You need a flat edge, not a really, you know, not a pointy knife. And hopefully this will work.
You better not say 5.8.
So 5.3, and 0.6 is about 1/4 cup.
Oh, wow.
So you might have had 1/4 cup too much flour in your recipe, and that's why it's El Pooperino. Okay, so you really need to do that.
Don't pack it in.
Okay, so white sugar, you can go like that, and then do this, but the brown sugar one is really important because you're going to make a sandcastle.
Oh, are you?
So you pack it in really hard.
Yeah.
And if it's not a sandcastle, then you don't have the right amount. Okay, so it's got to look like a sandcastle.
So it's all different rules.
It's all different rules. Okay.
All right.
How much time do we have? Enough time for the next couple? Do we? Are we at 1 minute?
Yeah. You got
okay, 1 minute. All right. When you go to make your cookies, you need some kind of fantastic little pan liner. Isn't that cute? And then all these little kind of that's from Trudeau, and I think it's adorable. And then you can use these scoops, and these scoops you can put on, and they're going to actually be a perfect size. And then when they're baked, you don't cool them on the sheet. You cool them on the sheet for about a minute, 2 minutes, and then you transfer them over using a spatula so that they'll air dry, and then they'll cool out, and you won't get them soggy, and they're going to be perfect. We didn't talk about this measuring. I'll do it in the next section, but that is the rules.
It is a wonder that I've ever made an edible cookie. After that, I've done every single thing wrong. It's incredible, and I haven't lost any teeth or anything.
I think it's the amount of sugar and fat, so you can get away with it. But for a really perfect cookie, you need to do these kind of things.
Holy moly! Okay,
Yes.
The Trudeau baking liners are really the perfect accompaniment to your holiday baking. They're non-stick, they're easy to clean, they're dishwasher safe.